Thank you for according me the opportunity, and thank you for your cooperation. As you know, yesterday, the latest IPC analysis report has been, or an interim report has been launched, and this is our response to the details contained therein. We have our concerns of the report of the Technical Committee for the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification IPC. So we need to reflect our concerns, and we have an IPC committee which is consisted of, from the government side, it includes Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, Ministry of Livestock and Ministry of Social Development, Humanitarian Aid Commission, Ministry of Health, Weather Forecast and Statistics Department, and the international partners comprised of Food and Agriculture, which is FAO, WFP, Famine and Food Security Network, International Organization for Migration, Food Security and Nutrition Sector. The food security situation in all states of Sudan, as has been analyzed, and through the analysis, cases of hunger said to be appeared in some localities and camps for displaced people in states where conflicts are severe. The committee analyzed the risk of famine in these areas: Northern Darfur in Al-Fashir and Zamzam camp, South Darfur in Niala, North, South, and Balila, West Darfur in IDP camps and Sirba locality, South Kordofan in camps for displaced people and refugees, Khartoum in Tuti, Mayo and Rescue, Al Jazeera in Greater Madani, south and east of Madani, east of the Nile in the locality, North Kordofan Shikan refugee camp in East Darfur area. So the results of this committee's report at the national level, and according to the classification stages in Sudan, there are 25.6 million people in food emergencies and need urgent interventions. 755,000 people live in hunger. They are located in areas witnessing severe conflicts. Most of them are displaced, people in camps, and very narrow areas in Khartoum and the Jazeera. The current period running from October to February, there is a decrease in the number of people in emergency situation from 25.5 or 0.6 to 21 million IPC3, because it is a harvest period despite the war conditions. So the population who are in the hunger phase decreased as well from 755,000 to IPC5 108,944. The food security situation risk in regions or in the regions was analyzed in the following: camps for displaced people in Darfur and Kordofan, the narrow areas in Jazeera and Khartoum. It turns out of these residents are in a state of hunger. All members of the committee are convinced that these areas which witnessed cases of hunger are subjected to repeated attacks, vicious repeated attacks by the RSF militia, and some of them are encircled or besieged by the militia until present. The Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry concerns regarding the report are the following. The report did not clearly mention any adequate indicators of famine in Sudan. We believe that the data collection by IPC from the states occupied by the RSF militia is unreliable and unconvincing due to the difficulty of accessing those areas or those states. The report is merely depending on old data from UN agencies and organizations. According to the report, as I said, 25.6 million people are now in food emergencies and in need of urgent interventions. The number of people in emergency situation, as I said, decreased to 21 million in October-February, between October and February 24 period, because it is a harvest period despite the war conditions. The number of people in the hunger status also decreased from 755,000 between October-February 25 period to 181,000. The 181,000 people in the hunger status constitute only 2% of the total population of 48 million, and this is insignificant percentage to be taken as a serious indicator of an imminent famine. So some partners were not convinced by the IPC report nor were they convinced by the previous CFSM production estimates report, which denied any famine in Sudan. They are insisting to review the famine. Our recommendations are accordingly, we agree with the report that there are people who are in need of food, and an intervention more than others should be supported to protect them from falling into famine or experiencing dire famine. More than 8.1 million people are displaced in states under the government control, should be supported because they can easily be provided and have access to aid. So if the declaration of famine is only to open borders, so the government has already named more than 8 cross borders, like our borders with Republic of South Sudan, which is riverine and terrestrial, our borders with Egypt from Halab to Dongola in northern Sudan, our borders with Chad, Atina, Al-Fashir, borders through Sawakin in eastern Sudan, and we have dedicated 3 airports, Port Sudan, Al-Fashir Airport, and Kadugli, to mainly for shipment of aid, humanitarian aid. So our concern is that there are looming risk, and existential risk that the RSF militia can see the humanitarian and prevent its access or delivery to the needy, as it has disrupted before the convoy which has started from eastern Sudan through northern Sudan heading to Milita and Al-Fashir. So if we open specific border of Adari between Chad and Sudan, this will be opening Pandora's box, because there will be smuggling of arms to the area controlled by the RSF militia in that area, and the army or the Sudanese armed forces do not have any checkpoints in that area. So the real balance of supply and demand as it stands, the balance of national supply demand for grains for the marketing year 2024, January to December, is listed in table 17, broken down by sorghum, millet, maize, wheat, and rice. The balance is based on the mission's production estimates, including forecast for winter wheat yield and harvest in March 24, and the latest information on consumption, food use, trade, stock availability, and plans. The following assumptions are holding as follows. So total food consumption is estimated at 7.32 million tons, using an estimated population figure of 48.2 million people to the end of 23, which was approved in the latest integrated classification of food security stages, IPC analysis. The average per capita consumption is 152 kilograms of grains annually, including 75 kilograms of sorghum, 58 kilograms of wheat, 16 kilograms of millet, 2 kilos of rice, and 1 kilo of corn. Food usage is expected to reach 152,740 tons, using an allocation of about 5% of production. Sorghum and 2% of millet production are used as food for livestock and poultry. As in previous years, seed requirements for planting in 2024 are estimated at about 122,000 tons based on the average cultivated areas over the past 3 years and the country's recommended seed rate. So the following seed rates were used: 7.5 kilos for sorghum, 4 kilos for millet, 20 kilos for corn, 120 kilos for wheat, 75 kilos for rice. The post-harvest and other use losses are estimated at 191,380 tons, with rates ranging from 5% for sorghum and millet, 4% for maize, 2% for rice, and 1% for wheat. The important requirements for 24 marketing year are expected to be approximately 3.4 million tons, mostly wheat and sorghum, in addition to a large amount of millet and a negligible amount of maize and rice. So this is, in a nutshell, a bird's eye view reply or response for the contents of the temporary IPC that has been launched yesterday. So thank you very much for your cooperation, and I remain at your disposal. Yes, sir.
May I ask a question? My name is Gabriel Elizondo from Al Jazeera TV channel. Ambassador, can you just tell me, can you mention, the report mentioned some hot spots in Khartoum. Can you respond to that part of the report?
Because actually the report has stated 14 areas which are in dire need for humanitarian aid, but the difference between us and them, we say that their assumptions are notional. They never had access to those areas, and they relied on old assumptions and statistics. Actually, the difference is that, which is pragmatically, we have done this. For example, the government of Sudan has, the Minister of Agriculture has set up an ad hoc teams by the state authorities, particularly state ministries and irrigation projects, with data and information on crop production and livestock conditions, including official estimates of the area cultivated and harvested, also the production of staple grains and cash crops, as well as information on the main factors influencing them. Where the security situation permitted, we have conducted field visits to verify official estimates provided by state authorities with information collected through field inspections, rapid case studies with samples of farmers, and interviews with herders and traders. So there is also the rainfall amounts and distribution, vegetation status, crop protection campaigns, livestock conditions, and health and prices of major crops and livestock. Regular food security reports were also accessed, while it was not possible to obtain official information on social and economic indicators. Main sources from the Central Bank of Sudan, the Sudanese Agricultural Bank, the Central Bureau of Statistics, and the Strategic Reserve Authority, CERCO. So this is actually our perspective within which we have delivered our statistics, which we consider them to be more realistic and up to the moment in comparison to the IPC, what do you call it, which has been launched yesterday. So we also, we have differences regarding what you name this. As a state, we are not denying the dire conditions of the needy people, and we have made our best as a government to pave the way for international humanitarians to have access, and as I have narrated. But actually, wherever there is a production which is at a harvest time, the RSF would viciously attack those areas with a view to disrupting life and to displacing the people, and this will affect harvesting the product, which we consider to be very, very big sizes of products are available to be harvested, had it not been for the disruption of the vicious attacks of the RSF, which they do maliciously, and I said, with specific international circuits to complicate the security situation and to develop a narrative whereby famine could be dictated from above. So Sudanese people are famished and they have to be saved, and this will give a recipe for those ill-wishers to intervene in Sudan. We are objecting to this, because if you do this, then the biblical Armageddon war is going to be launched in Sudan. Thank you very much. If you have any further questions? Any more questions? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.